What's up, everybody? I'm Milan Jordan. This is the MMA Daily Blitz, brought to you by FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on Twitter at Milan Jordan, also on Threads as well at Milan Jordan. Also, check out our website, fanstreamsports.com, for more great content. All right, coming off a busy weekend, both Bellator and the UFC with fight cards on Saturday night. We'll start with the pay-per-view, UFC 291, Saturday night in front of a raucous crowd in Salt Lake City, Utah, headlined by Poirier versus Gaethje 2. And the first meeting back in 2018 was the fight of the year and went to Dustin Poirier via fourth-round knockout. Well, the rematch didn't last as long, but it did also end via knockout. Justin Gaethje ends up winning in a second-round KO just 1 minute into round number 2 with a picture-perfect head kick, reminiscent of Leon Edwards' head kick knockout of Kamaru Usman last year, also in Salt Lake City. Both guys had some good shots throughout this fight. Gaethje set up the head kick with a solid right jab and quickly landed his left shin against Dustin Poirier's right temple. Absolute textbook. So Justin Gaethje now holds the BMF belt, but more importantly, is in line for a lightweight title shot next time out. Current champ Islam Makhachev will face Charles Oliveira at UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi this October. Of course, the Gaethje-Poirier fight was a big fight with a lot of eyeballs. So, of course, Conor McGregor went on social media to put in his 2 cents saying, well, forget about fighting Michael Chandler. He wants to fight Justin Gaethje now. When asked about that in the post-fight press conference, Gaethje shut down that talk, saying he, quote, doesn't fight guys on steroids, end quote. So, look, of course, if you've seen Conor McGregor over the past 6, 7, 8, 9 months, he looks absolute jacked. So, a lot of people are suspicious about him, that figure being enhanced. Look, we got the Ultimate Fighter going on, season 30. Season's going to be wrapping up soon. And usually, when that ends, the 2 coaches go at it. This season's coaches, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. A very intriguing fight. It was announced back in January. Of course, Conor McGregor is coming off a broken leg. He's not in the USADA testing pool. Need to be in the USADA testing pool 6 months of clean test before you fight, of course, unless the UFC grants an exemption, which it's Conor McGregor. It wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But nonetheless, so you figure, all right, January, they're going to fight at some point, maybe this summer. It was, fight week, then maybe New York, and then maybe year end. Well, here it is. It's now August 2nd to be exact, as I'm recording this Wednesday night. And nothing even close to a Conor McGregor-Michael Chandler fight. So, does Conor McGregor need the fight? No, he doesn't. The guy's made millions upon millions of dollars. His story is a great story. Worked up through the ranks, made millions. He has, is probably the most famous MMA athlete by far. He has his Proper 12 whiskey and other business ventures. He's in the movies, all that stuff. But that being said, anytime there's, John Jones has done this in the past too. When there's a big fight, kind of get people talking about him. It's like, hey, I know these guys are getting a spotlight, but no, let me get in on that too. So Conor McGregor goes on Twitter or social media and just gives his 2 cents. But let's be honest, I've had my doubts about a Conor McGregor Michael Chandler fight for the last couple months because there's nothing even close to that. Michael Chandler's game for it. He's like, yeah, why not? But you figure they might announce something during the Ultimate Fighter. Well, that's nothing even close has happened. So at this point, again, mentioned the 6 months of clean test in the USADA pool. Conor McGregor still is not in the USADA testing pool as of this moment. So if it does last 6 months, 6 months from now would be early February. That's a long time. It's like by that point, him and Michael Chandler, it's like people forget about the Ultimate Fighter by that point. So you're really building whatever kind of momentum you had from that gone. But it's a Conor McGregor fight. You really don't need momentum from outside sources. It's Conor McGregor, right? The fight sells itself. But to be honest with you, I don't think he needs the fight. I think his best days as a fighter are behind him. If he is for the love of a competition and competing and wanting to come back from a vicious injury, okay, but still waiting, right? I mean, we've known this since January, and there's nothing even close to coming to a fight. So he doesn't need the money, certainly. Doesn't need the notoriety. People know Conor McGregor. If they see if he doesn't fight again, he's still going to be, uber famous and rich and all that stuff. So, look, Mike, Justin Gaethje has said he's not going to fight Conor McGregor, so fine. So is Michael Chandler back on the table? Who knows? And to be honest with you, it's a big soap opera. I'm not going to hold my breath as an MMA fan. I mean, if we see Conor McGregor fight again, fine. If not, that's fine too. And I wouldn't be surprised if we wouldn't. All right, so back to the UFC 291 card. The co-main event was Alex Pereira making his light heavyweight debut. The former middleweight champ took on former light heavyweight champ Jan Blachowicz. And this was a close fight. And Pereira ended up winning by split decision. He went 29-28 for him by two judges, and the other one went 29-28 for Blachowicz. And again, it was a really close fight. I thought Blachowicz did a little bit more to win the fight, but again, it wasn't a robbery by any means in my eyes. It could have gone either way, really. But nonetheless, Alex Pereira's debut at light heavyweight is a successful one. After the fight, talked about maybe dropping back to 185 for a trilogy MMA fight against Israel Adesanya. I mean, we'll see. Adesanya's clean out the 185-pound division. He's going to fight Dricus du Plessis next. Of course, if he wins that fight as expected, I mean, who's left at 185? So that could happen. It would be a big fight. But Pereira, I mean, I think he's better off fighting at light heavyweight, even though he's won at middleweight. He's a huge middleweight, but he can more than handle himself at 205. So we'll see. All right, elsewhere on the card, on the main card, Derek Lewis took on Marcos Rogerio de Lima, and he won via first-round TKO just 33 seconds into the fight. This ended up being the final fight of Derek Lewis's contract, the Black Beast. We'll see where he goes from here. Could he go to PFL and, maybe set up a fight with Francis Ngannou, a rematch from their UFC fight, or does he stay with the UFC? Derek Lewis, fan favorite, one of the great personalities, not just in the heavyweight division, but in all the UFC, coming out with a huge, just 33 seconds worth of work on Saturday night, a first-round TKO. Now, this fight ended up replacing the Stephen Thompson, Michel Pereira fight. That was postponed due to Pereira not making weight. He was over by 3 pounds. It's not the first time that he's missed weight at welterweight. And Thompson, to his credit, he didn't want to find an opponent who would be decisively bigger. When Wonder Boy fought against Darren Till a few years back, Till missed weight by 3.5 pounds. Well, the fight went on, and Till ended up winning by unanimous decision. Here's the thing. We remember this now whenever someone misses weight. When a fighter misses weight, you talk about that weekend, the two fighters fight, and then if more often than not, the guy or fighter who misses weight, who is bigger, ends up winning the fight. They still get a win, and the person who did what they're supposed to do, cut weight properly, end up making weight, loses, and that's an L on their mark. So I understand Stephen Thompson for doing this, and why not? I mean, he went on Ara Hawani's show, and he was saying, look, I'm a professional. He's had almost 100 total professional fights, kickboxing and MMA. Said he's never missed weight. So if he's going through that to be professional and do all that, his opponent should do the same, and I agree with him 100%, especially with this is a guy, Pereira, who has had issues missing weight at 170 in the past. So, and at this, there's a money issue. Thompson, he has yet to be paid. He's confident he'll get paid. He'll get a show money. See, fighters get a show money and then a win money. I think when a fighter misses weight, and if the fight goes on, the only way the guy who misses weight, the only money they could possibly get is win money. Don't get the show money because you showed up for the fight, but you're over. You didn't fulfill your obligations of making weight. So I think that should go to the first fighter who ended up making weight, in this case, Stephen Thompson. So Stephen Thompson, and look, that money's already allocated. So Thompson should get the show and win money, and also get Pereira show money. So, but again, that's worked out with the UFC, and he's confident that he will be paid for his services. And again, think about this too. During camp, you make so many sacrifices. That money comes in, and not just for the fighter, but also paying the managers, the coaches, gym time, all that stuff. And you kind of rely on that, especially now since, fighters can't bring their own sponsorship deals to the UFC. It has to be, within fight week and all that. So they're losing on all that money. So, I mean, why not get everything there for Stephen Thompson and other fighters that have been in his similar situation? All right, the rest of the UFC 291 main card, Bobby Green submitted Tony Ferguson via arm triangle late in round number 3. Tony Ferguson loses for the 6th straight time. Then opening up the main card, Kevin Holland beat Michael Chiesa versus via Darce choke, 2:39 of round number 1. The undercard was pretty eventful, pretty solid undercard. And again, credit to the fans in Salt Lake City. They were loud. They were packed from early prelims all the way through the pay-per-view. And looking at the undercard, Gabriel Bonfim defeated Trevin Gillis by guillotine choke, just a $113 in the round number 1. CJ Vergara defeated Vinicius Salvador by unanimous decision. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but Vergara ended up winning, and Salvador really did a lot of showboating. He was a taller fighter, he had more range than Vergara, but Salvador did a lot of showboating, didn't really mount very much offense. And to Vergara's credit, he didn't fall for the bait. Elsewhere, Roman Kopylov defeated Claudio Ribeiro by knockout in round number 2. Jake Matthews wins again, defeating Darius Flowers via rear naked choke in round number 2. And the other 2 fights were stoppages as well on the undercard. Uros Medic, the Serbian fighter who took this fight on just 3 weeks' notice, beat Matthew Smellersberger via 3rd round TKO. Just a vicious strike to end this fight. And then Miranda Maverick ended up winning via armbar round number 3 at 2 minutes and 11 seconds over Priscilla Cachorra. All right, I mentioned Bellator had their event on Saturday as well. Bellator and Rizin 2 at the Saitama Super Arena in Japan. The main card for the Bellator portion was Patricky Pitbull beating Roberto D'Souza by TKO via calf kick, and early in round number 3, and Patricky Pitbull ends up advancing in a lightweight Grand Prix, even though this fight was at 161 pounds. I remember D'Souza, he replaced A.J. McKee on 3 days' notice just before the fight because McKee had to pull out due to medical issues. But nonetheless, Patricky Pitbull advances in the lightweight Grand Prix. The first ever Bellator flyweight championship was on the line, and, well, it's still vacant. Kyoji Horiguchi took on Makoto Shinru. It was ruled a no contest due to an accidental eye poke, so as I mentioned, the championship remains vacant. It's just the 3rd no contest in a Bellator championship fight ever. So we'll see if there's a rematch and these 2 fighters go at it later down the road. Elsewhere on the main card for Bellator and Rizin, Kana Watanabe defeated Beta Atiaga by unanimous decision. Magomedov beat Danny Sabatello via guillotine choke in round number 2. And Andrei Koreshkov beat Lorenz Larkin via split decision, avenging a 2019 loss to Larkin. All right, this weekend, the 2023 PFL playoffs kick off in San Antonio, Friday night to be exact, featuring semifinals of both featherweight and light heavyweight. You can catch the action on ESPN. On the main card, the featherweight semis, you got Bubba Jenkins taking on Jesus Pinheiro, and then Gabriel Braga takes on Chris Wade. The light heavyweight semis, Josh Silveira takes on Ty Flores, and Martin Hamlet takes on Impa Kasanganay. And then also on the main card, you have a lightweight fight between Elvin Espinoza and Keone Diggs. The UFC is back in action Saturday night for a fight night card in Nashville, which you can see on ESPN. And the main event is in the bantamweight division. 4th-ranked Corey Sandhagen takes on 7th-ranked Rob Font. That should be a good fight. And then the co-main event is in the women's strawweight division. Number 5, Jessica Andrade takes on number 10, Tatiana Suarez. But perhaps the biggest fight this weekend in combat sports is a boxing match between former UFC fighter Nathan Diaz making his pro boxing debut as he takes on Jake Paul. That will be Saturday night in Dallas on pay-per-view. All right, folks, well, that'll do it for this episode of the MMA Daily Blitz. As always, brought to you by FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. Again, like, share, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you consume your podcast. Follow me on Twitter and Threads at Milan Jordan. As always, I appreciate you checking out the MMA Daily Blitz. I will talk to you later.